Hello everybody, Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. I had a question on my latest video, which was here on Nurse Cresswell versus Detective Rodriguez. That's a great video if you hadn't watched it. But I'm going to show you. I answered the question, but it takes time to get to find basically the proof of it, and I'm going to show you here. Okay, here was the question right here. Somebody that logs in and calls himself the Holy Spirit. It says, how long were the secret police in your house on the night of the shooting? They are in a bedroom by a computer for like 5 minutes, right? And planning a cell phone, right? Okay, so that was the question I got 1 day ago, and which I answered, and that's basically what this video is about right here. Okay, and so there's the reply, but I think I also have it in Notepad, and that's easier to see, a lot larger font, and so we're just gonna read it from there. And then basically this was a short response that I was answering this question. I'm saying, good question, and based on the evidence, MPD Lieutenant Dickie was inside my home at 11:05 p.m. and then left my home at 4:41 a.m. Okay, so you know, you can see his confusion. He was there for like 5 minutes, right? No, we're talking about from 11 o'clock at night till 4:41 a.m. Here's what is known. That's what I put. I was seen crawling out at 10:42 p.m. Martin County Sheriff John Woodward and the late Midland Sheriff Deputy Mike Naylor were seen arriving 19 minutes later at 11:01 p.m. without being dispatched, and their names were missing from the police report. Okay. Lieutenant Dickie was inside my home 4 minutes after that at 11:05 p.m., but he wasn't seen arriving on the cameras that saw Woodward and Naylor. This is how it's known that Dickie entered from the now removed underground trap door that I was shot from and the ex-wife had told me about. It's assumed that Officers Davis, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale were also under my home and had entered this way, since they're listed as being at my home and not seen arriving before the front security cameras were disabled at 11:22 p.m. Okay, and so at 3:15, that was later in the morning, a.m., the computer running in my bedroom, connected to the bedroom camera. It's connected to the bedroom security camera, was manually rebooted, and this is what started it working. It had been terminated or stopped at 8:07 p.m., about an hour and a half before I was ambushed and shot. That's when it's suspected of when my cell phone was stolen and my home phone lines were disconnected in preparation to kill me, because they shot me from point blank range directly on an artery with my phone lines cut. Okay. And so when they disconnected that, terminated that inside camera, I believe that's when they were stealing my cell phone and disconnected the home phone lines. The first secret police are seen in my bedroom at 3:36 a.m. and the last picture from my bedroom that night was at 3:55 a.m. I'm going to show you all the pictures that were taken. There's only a few of them, which is also the timestamp of the picture that is believed to show Detective Rosie Rodriguez, and Officer April Chandler planning my stolen cell phone behind my nightstand after I was shot. The police report showed that Dickie and Rodriguez were clear from my home at 4:41. Okay, so I'm throwing out all them facts. You know, this happened at this minute, that happened in that minute, whatever. Keep in mind that it's now known that I had trapped a burglar in my guest bathroom, who was obviously freed by Lieutenant Dickie since he was in my house, right? I suspect that the police were secretly working with the burglars that had been breaking into my home, and felt like they couldn't arrest that criminal for this felony, as it would then expose the underground homes, tunnels, and many other crimes and murders connected with them. So then they decided to kill me and make it look like an accident. Okay. Who would suspect somebody under my home shooting me, or that a large group of police were involved in a murder attempt? I mean, right? Another factor is the ex-wife told me in so many words that a lot of people were in the underground home in the backyard when I was shot. So I believe that some kind of party was going on. Those people are either witnesses or accomplices to this premeditated capital attempted murder. If my murder was ruled an accident, if I died, then that would have added an additional $500,000 to the payout, but more importantly, it would stop me from trying to expose the crimes here. I was a problem for them as I was tear gassing the attic and calling law enforcement. They've been trying to terrorize me into selling my home and moving ever since. And then here's the timeline, and I'm just going to show you there because I quoted a lot of facts, but I want to show you the proof of it, okay? So here it comes. Okay, so this is going to be the good part, because this is where it shows the evidence right here. And then what I did, I took everything that I said when I wrote that out, and I just put it in this list, and then I went and found the proof pictures. And, you know, in that way, it's not my word against their word. You know, this is what happened. You know, that, I mean, that's a fact, you know. And so it is a logical, I think, a logical theory that it was police under my home that tried to murder me. I mean, that just makes sense based on the evidence. Okay? And so I want to show you that here's the first one at 8:07. That's what I'm saying. This is the last picture of me. Okay, I want to show you the timestamp on it. 8:07. I got a shotgun. Burglar alarms are going off in my attic. I was under a home invasion. This was a very, very scary situation for a homeowner that had been reporting repeated burglaries to his house for over 14 months. You know, I mean, this house is just a nightmare. They've rigged it for these crimes. That was the last picture of me before I was crippled for life. You know that, and I want to show you the next one. At the timestamp on it, this is the log file for the bedroom camera, running some software called YawCam, which stood for just another webcam. And it was a security camera software. And I want to show you here. Basically, I get up at 10:52 in the morning. YawCam started, and then it terminated there. You can see it at 8:08. Okay, and the last picture of me was 8:07. See, I've got a little note here: killer shut off my camera in preparation to murder me. And then you're going to see at 3:16 a.m. YawCam started. Okay, secret police accidentally started my camera by rebooting my computer. We're going to see that in a minute. But this was the log file that showed. And that's when it's believed that they stole my cell phone and cut my home phone lines. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next one, crawling out. So that, I said I was crawling out at 10:42, but there's a reason I said that, because it's time stamped on the security camera pictures. Okay, I'm crawling out at 10:42, right? So now we know that, that's what happened, exactly what I said, right? And and here at the hospital at 11:27, the nurses document me saying sirens are going off, the burglar alarms kept going off. I got a voice recorder, that's recording it. I got proof. There's proof at my house. I was under a home invasion. That's what I was saying. Okay. The next one here is going to say Woodward and Naylor arrive. Okay. First two secret police 11 minutes later. That's what I wrote. Okay, and there they are. There's a video on this. It's on the security camera, and there's the timestamp on it on the screenshot, 11:01. So there it is. That's Martin County Sheriff John Woodward, former Martin County Sheriff, and the late Midland County Sheriff Deputy Mike Naylor are seen arriving. Now keep in mind, they were not dispatched. Their names were not on the long withheld police report. And the first one that showed up, Woodward, is from a whole nother county in Texas. That I'm in Midland County. Nobody's ever explained why a sheriff from a whole nother county is at my front door minutes after a murder attempt. But the obvious answer is they were under my home when I shot. They were at the party in the underground home in the backyard when I was shot. And of course, there's more to the story, because I had trapped a burglar in that guest bathroom, and of course, I had a gun, and so that was a dire situation for the criminals breaking my home. The next set here, I'll show you. It's showing Lieutenant Dickie arrives, Sergeant Chatwell arrives, Kenny Angel arrives, Dylan Hale arrives. Okay, that's when the police arrive, and then the front camera is disabled. Okay, so there was 5 police officers. I didn't get the police report until 2019, 7 years after the murder attempt. They illegally withheld it from me. I mean, because it was incriminating. It was subpoenaed in 2013, and they just broke the law and withheld the police report because they knew that this information was on it. What it did was show these police officers were at my home, and they wasn't seen arriving on the security cameras, and so that's how it's known. They come in from the trap door that the ex-wife had already told me about from where I was shot from. And so this is right from the police report, and I even have the list here from the security camera on the timestamps, because it shows me crawling out, Woodward and Naylor showing up, and then here's Dickie here at 11:03, on scene Matt Davis 11:03. Backers called here, and here at 11:05, Dickie is inside my house. He says no one in the house, inside, and lots of odd things like booby traps. And that was a lie. Lieutenant Dickie lied, because there's no booby traps here, and there's no booby traps in the evidence log, and that just proves that it was one more lie by these dirty cops, you know. And then also at 11:18, Greg Chatwell is here, and Kenny Angel's here, and Dylan Hale's here, you know. At 11:19, they're also not seen arriving, okay? Because remember, the cameras didn't have any problem seeing Woodward and Naylor arriving, right? And the camera didn't get disabled until 11:22. So they were here before, time stamped as being at my house before the front camera was disabled, but they wasn't seen arriving, 5 of them. And Dickie was inside my home, okay? So that's how we know it. You know, them officers, you know, obviously coming from the underground trapdoor, that Dickie came in too. So as Davis, Dickie, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale. There's more of them. You know, there's 11 secret police, right? Because, you know, you had Rodriguez and Chandler up there at the 7-Eleven, you know, and so that there's more of them, but there's 5 there that we are time-stamped, documented at my house without being seen arriving on the security camera that saw Woodward and Naylor. Okay, this is one of my security cameras, is on the side of my house, and here it is at 11:22, the timestamp. It's looking at the yard, and it's looking at the west yard and front of my house towards the west side, okay? And this is the same security camera, and just a few seconds later, 2 seconds later, and now it's looking at the wall. And so what happened was the police come in there and they rotated the camera to, instead of look out here, they wanted to look there. They did that they disabled all the cameras out front. They disabled the front cameras, and then they attempted to disable the inside camera and accidentally started it. But you know, that this was just proof showing. But the big thing is, when on disabling these cameras, was them 5 officers were time stamped as being at my home before the cameras were disabled, okay? The front cameras. This is the log file, the Windows System event log from my computer in my bedroom that was running the bedroom security camera, okay? And this log file shows that there was a user initiated log off, okay? And so that tells you that, you know, here they terminate. This is when they terminated. I showed you on the Yawcam log that they terminated it. This is where, and it started back up at 3:16. What, 3:15 a.m. they manually rebooted my computer. Okay, and you know, here's what happened. You know, they're in my house, and they're trying to be covert because they were withholding the police report. They didn't want anybody to know that they were in my house staging the crime scene, planting evidence, covering up this capital attempted murder that they were probably involved in. Okay, and so they saw that camera and they thought, let's reboot that computer. Let's kill that camera because we don't want to be caught on camera covering up a capital attempted murder, right? And when they rebooted the computer, what they didn't know is they started the camera, okay? That's what messed them up, was starting this camera. You know, these security camera pictures is really what messed them up, you know? And because then there was proof that they were at my home and they were withholding the police report showing they were at my home, okay? That's why it took 6 years to get them identified, but I'm just showing you they manually rebooted the computer at 3:15, and it was an attempt to disable the inside camera. Remember, they did successfully disable the outside camera, okay? And then and here I'm gonna go back to the list. The in-zone camera reboot right here, and then first bedroom picture at 3:36 a.m. and the last bedroom picture at 3:55, and that's what we're gonna go through. Here's these pictures, okay? This is when they accidentally started the camera. They didn't know it was taking pictures, okay? So these were the first one, 3:36, 3:36. This is April Chandler right here. Her name actually happens to be on the police report. But there are, out of the 11 police officers that got identified by the private investigator in 2018, 6 years later, for collecting the money, 6 of them had their names omitted, you know, as if they wasn't here, but they'd been caught on camera. And, you know, and then, like I said, they tried to disable the camera and accidentally started it. You know, I mean, it was a sloppy job, and, you know, it was a sloppy job for this premeditated capital attempted murder that, you know, I was supposed to be dead, and you know, nobody would ever question them. This guy right here, this is at 3:38. That's Chad Simpson. He goes on to murder his wife and kill himself. A lot of people are asking, wouldn't she be alive, Sandra Simpson be alive, if these criminals had been arrested? Yes, she would. I mean, I believe that, right? You know, I mean, they were obviously in here. They're involved in covering up the capital attempted murder of my life. Here we go, more pictures, okay? There we go. run 5, right? Okay. See, these are the pictures I had that took 6 years to get them identified. You know, this guy right here, I made a point. Look, he's having a good old time. You know, like nobody's ever going to figure out we're in this house covering up this murder attempt. He's just having fun. He's a dirty cop. You know, it's like life is good being a dirty cop. You know, killing people in their homes, people that are reporting crimes to them. You know, here's a citizen going to them reporting burglaries, and we're working with the burglars that are breaking into his house. Literally, that's what's going on. Keep in mind, I'm a lifelong supporter of law enforcement. These are dirty cops, man. These are the dirty of the dirty. I mean, I would probably say these are the dirtiest cops in the history of the state of Texas, you know. Here's April Chandler again right here. And here she is. I call that, she's filling up the booty bag, you know. And there was evidence that was stolen. The shotgun shells were stolen. And, you know, they wasn't stealing an item. What they were trying to do was they were stealing items to cover up this capital attempted murder. And this was really important because this one is Rosie Rodriguez, Detective Rosie Rodriguez. And she got a camera there, and there's April Chandler. And it looks like they waited based on timestamp 3:47, and here's the next one at 3:55. It looks like they waited for all the other police to leave the room, and then Rosie is leaned over my nightstand. That's where my stolen phone was, where my cell phone was found planted behind this nightstand when I returned from the hospital. And I believe that's what they were planting, my stolen phone. And so, you know, they were somehow connected with stealing it, because I believe it was stolen around the same time that the inside camera was terminated at 8:08, 8:07. Remember, then I'm calling out at 10:42, ambushed and shot with my phone lines cut. But here's planting my stolen cell phone. This is Rosie Rodriguez leaned over there, and April Chandler right here waited till the mother police. And then even Rodriguez makes up a lie. Actually, that was, you know, in videos that I made, Rodriguez makes up a lie and says, Buddy said that the battery was out on his phone, so that's why he crawled out. No, Buddy didn't say that. My battery was fully charged. I had the cordless phone because my cell phone was stolen, you know. She just made up that lie. This is Rosie Rodriguez. Actually, this video that this was about was Rodriguez, Detective Rodriguez versus Nurse Cresswell. And I just compared, here's what Nurse Cresswell said I said, here's what Detective Rodriguez said I said. And, you know, and then I said, here's what happened, okay? And that was my latest video. Well, one of them is a liar, right? You know, well, here's your liar right here is the detective. And I wonder how many people she sent to prison and just blatantly lie about an innocent crime victim. This is April Chandler, and she's over here searching my drawers, you know, at 3:55. Get out of my drawers. Okay. And here is the police report that I didn't get until 2019, 7 years after the fact. What I did, I found a number. It was this number right here. I saw this number referenced in some of the other police reports, but I didn't have a police report for that number, and so I sent an online request for this number. Give me this number, this police report number, and I get the police report. It had been subpoenaed in 2013. You know, actually, I had been requested in 2012. They illegally withheld it, and then it had been subpoenaed in 2013 before the protective order. Before the protective order hearing, they illegally withheld it, and then I happened to get it 7 years later. And that's what I was telling you, that 6 of the 11 secret police that had been identified by the private investigator had to pay, you know, the private investigator $2,000 to identify them. I had their pictures. I just didn't have a police report saying who they were, you know. And that's when I got this report, and that's where I got that information, the time stamps off of it, you know, and you know, there's a whole bunch of more stuff in here, you know, where Sergeant Davis is calling my ex-wife, you know, about an hour after I'm shot. That's real suspicious, you know. And here they are. I said they logged out or they cleared right here. You can see it. Dickie cleared, and then Rosie Rodriguez cleared at 4:41 a.m. So that was to answer the question that started this. Right, was how long were they in your house? About 5 minutes, right? No, they, you know, here we got them documented, you know, from as I said, from whatever it's first seen at 11:01, and then they didn't clear it at 4:41, right? But you know what the real truth is they were under my house, right? That's what makes sense. And they come in from under my house, and it's probably police that shot me. Okay, here's just the supporting evidence. It's real short, and we're finished. This come right from the private investigator in 2018. This was the names of the 11 police officers right there. I've read them before. These were the pictures. You know, I used to pass this meme around, and you know, first time in the history of America, a crime victim offered a reward to identify police. Couldn't get a news story in the nation. Our press has been a big part of covering up these violent crimes against innocent homeowners. You know, I said I don't know how many times, you know, just one news story saying that, you know, all these homeowners reporting people in the attic, buddies ambushed and shot with burglar alarms going off in the attic, and it would have stopped this a long time ago. You know, Sandra Simpson would be alive right now. A policeman's wife wouldn't be murdered if the press would have done their job and just reported the news and warned the public about this widespread racketeering and organized crime, you know, and the police corruption that's helping it. What this is, when I returned from the hospital, I found pry marks on the inside top door jamb of my bathroom doorknob, or bathroom door, guest bathroom, and that told me I had trapped a burglar in there before I was ambushed and shot. Okay, and so because they were trying to pry their way out of it, you know, so that really kind of explained what happened. They're having a big party underground, and they got a burglar inside my house. Right, I recognize somebody's in my house. I tie wire my door shut, and I unknowingly trap one of these criminals that had been terrorizing me for over a year in this bathroom, and I'm on the other side of the door with a gun. It's a dire situation for these criminals because they got all these homes rigged, you know. It's connected to all these murders and these raping little girls and forcing them to prostitute and at the wholesale parties and all that. And, you know, and then all of a sudden I trap one of them, you know, and the burglar and the police, these corrupt police, are working with the burglars, right? So they can't come in and arrest the burglar, right? So what do? It looks like they tried to murder me, and that was going to, you know, because I was a problem anyway, because I was reporting crime to them, right? Crimes they were involved in committing, you know. I sincerely believe that these police knew about the underground homes, thus they knew about the burglaries, and thus they knew about the crimes, the murder attempt, and here they are, they're trying to cover it up. And back again to the nurses, no, just, you know, showing alarms kept going up. I was tie-wiring my doors to keep them out. But see, that's a big deal. Interestingly, when I met Homeland Security in 2019, they suggested that I go see the FBI again, you know, and I'd already told them my problems with the FBI, you know, that I already seen the FBI. And he's like, oh, they're not dirty anymore. They got a bunch of new people down there, you know. Well, so I go down there, and that's not what I found. You know, this guy, he's, you know, I think you have mental problems. So I said, you know, I hand him a medical record going, I'm cleared by mental health. Well, I don't care about the doctor. I think you do, you know. I mean, really, that's what he told me, right? And then I show him this stack of other homeowners that are reporting people in the attic. Well, I don't care about them either, you know. I just think you have a mental problem, you know, and that's why they're destroying my life with these lies, you know, so they can commit these violent crimes against innocent homeowners. They killed the guy that lived here before me, you know. But anyway, while I'm sitting there, that FBI agent pulled up this picture on his phone, and we talked about it. But I didn't tell him about it. I didn't tell him where it was at. He just knew where to go and get it. He already knew about this picture. Why? Because this picture proved that a burglar was trapped, and I think that was the excuse for these cops, these dirty cops. I think they tried to use this trapped burglar as an excuse for trying to murder me inside my home. Now remember, I'm under a home invasion, right? This is a criminal inside my home. Anyway, that FBI agent refused to give me his name. Just call me duty agent. Yeah, but what's your name? Just call me duty agent. Well, what if I need to contact you? Just call me duty agent. Dirty, 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 dirty. You know, I mean, that all the way around. And, you know, and they're killing one homeowner after another. Here we go, underground, you know, multiple people documented saying underground homes are here. It was said to be put in the 80s, 1987, budget $7.35 million for George H.W. Bush, called the Safe House Project, 4 underground homes. Another woman recorded saying there was 4 3-bedroom underground homes buried at least 25 foot deep. She said they're having pedophile parties down there, okay? Wanda Denman Rogers told me one underground home's a half block away. I think that's around the corner. Layla O'Brien's one told me about it being, she worked on this job, put in for the Vice President of the United States. It's a big deal. I think they might have used that to try to cover up these murders. Oh, yeah, let's top secret because it's for our Vice President. We can kill anybody we want now. That's really what I'm thinking, And then Sheriff candidate Joe Lozano during the election, he tells me that the underground homes was the hideout for our late Sheriff Painter, okay? And then another person says, go look up Google Maps. That's what this is. Go to Google Maps and put in your address, 3802 Fair Circle, and then just look at the map screen and then look at the satellite screen. And what you're going to see, there's a big bunker in my backyard here, and you go over to above ground, you can't see it. Well, obviously, that's one of the 4 underground homes. That's where I believe they murdered that young girl at the 2010 oil show party. And the previous owner of this home died the week before the 2008 oil show started, right? That's what I was saying. They're killing one homeowner after another. I tried to get the police reports for my home before I moved here, and I was denied, and by the city of Midland. They're hiding the police reports for my house from me. Okay, so I appealed to the Texas Attorney General Paxton, and he upheld it. No, we got to hide that from Buddy, and I think it probably holds incriminating evidence again, and it probably shows where they murdered the last guy that lived in this home. And once again, it's probably the same thing. Oh, let's put in for our president. We're going to use that as an excuse to kill innocent people. And I'm wondering, was he reporting crimes? Did he get murdered because he was reporting crimes that police were involved in committing? This is the cabinet that I was shot from. We know I wasn't shot with my gun. We know where I was shot. This is where the trapdoor was, right there. It's now clear. I believe it was filled in while I was in the hospital. Okay, and I'm just showing you the kickboard was missing, shelves gone, never put together right, but nobody would suspect that that's an underground entrance. There's $1 million underground homes there. They're having wholesale parties. Nobody would ever suspect that, I mean, I didn't know why that cabinet was all messed up when I moved in, And I'm just showing you the entrance and exit ones on my foot. A lot of people go, ain't there a hole in the floor? No, I wasn't shot up. I was shot sideways like this, They were standing under my home waiting for me to walk by and pull the trigger. That's what happened. Shot me directly in an artery from point blank range with my phone lines cut. Okay. This is going to show you another picture of the cabinet that I shot from, because this is a little bitty 8x9 room, my utility room. Got my washer and dryer that goes to the garage, and that's the cabinet I was shot from. See how the door's missing on it, But you just buy a home, you don't know why it's missing. Now we know why it's missing, right? Because that was rigged. It was an underground entrance. And remember I told you to mention the life insurance, right? Come to find out, Rosie Rodriguez is lifelong friends with the ex-wife I'd filed divorce on 5 days earlier. They went to elementary and junior high together. That wasn't found out until 2 years after the murder attempt, and she was a main player. And then that ex-wife had taken my life insurance books, that was these, and it showed that I had an accidental death policy, and that if her friend rules my murder an accident, then it adds $500,000 to the benefit. But the big prize is this home, and the underground home in the backyard where they force the little girls to prostitute at oil show parties. And the other big problem was I was tear gas in the attic. I was a problem for these criminals, and keep in mind these cops were working with the criminals that are breaking into the homes, and the police and the press is covering it up. I mean, this is a nightmare like you can't believe. Okay, so here we go. Here's actually the tear gas I was using, has a tube. You can stick the tube up there, punch the button. You don't want to be in the attic when you set that off, I'm telling you, And then it got brought up at the court at the protective order hearing, and basically they're going, at this time I didn't have all this evidence. I didn't have 50 other homeowners reporting people in the attic. I didn't have proof. I wasn't shot with my gun. I didn't even know who the secret police were. I just had their pictures, right? There was so much evidence I didn't have, So they're trying to make me look crazy. Did you tear gas your attic? And and that was the thing is I was a problem for these criminals because I was tear gas in the attic, and I was going to the police and reporting felonies, and I didn't know that these police were involved and working with the criminals committing the felonies. Okay, so I think that answered the question there. It was a lot longer than 5 minutes, and I don't see how you can even doubt it. It's premeditated, capital attempted murder. This is Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.